Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Sagittarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Sagittarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. All right, Seven of Swords. You're somebody dealing with some criticism. I feel like maybe it's a lack of support from other people. Okay? You're trying to stay on your straight and narrow. You know, you're trying to realize your vision. You're trying to complete your task. You're trying to reach your goal, live your life, fulfill your destiny. And there are people around you that are not supporting that. Okay? Those aren't your people. Sometimes that energy from outside can seep into us and we can start actually to believe all of the haters. Okay? Right now you're doing your best to eliminate the distraction from those haters, from that negative energy and other sources of negative energy. Okay? Trying to keep ourselves on that straight and narrow path. Let's put this card into a little bit of context and see what you're doing and how you might be combating that. You've got the Hanged Man. You've got a Queen of Wands, a Knight of Pentacles, a Three of Wands, a Prince of Pentacles. Now, Sagittarius, this is your superpower card. So this is this is the Queen of Wands. This is a mutable fire energy, represents the Sagittarius energy in action. Okay, so I feel like that is your ability to believe in yourself. You are that arrow soaring through the sky here, right? And you're going to hit your goal. And that's because you believe in yourself. You're fortifying yourself against any of the negative energies, any and all distractions. Okay, I think that you are you're letting go a little bit. Okay, over here we have a Queen of Cups, we have a Three of Pentacles, you have a Nine of Cups, and the Six of Swords. Your vision is going to be realized. You are sticking to the plan. Everything is coming together. Okay, I think what the Hanged Man is doing is accepting that not everybody is going to be supporting you. And now that if that means that we have to get rid of some people or distance ourselves or find other ways to eliminate that negative influence in our life, then so be it. But at the very least, we are choosing not to take that energy in to our being. Okay? We're fortifying ourselves. We are resisting that negative energy. Okay? Now let's select our mystery card. Bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're just going to set it down over here. We're going to put our very own Kelly Kapoor right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the end. Okay? It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Now, as we look around the room, we do see only one major arcana card, and it is the Hanged Man. We do not want to succumb to this doubt, okay? This criticism, the haters, this negative energy coming in that's trying to throw you off course right now. You do not want to start believing it, because this combination is very dangerous. This combination could be that people are telling me that I'm not worth it. People are telling me that I'm not enough. People are telling me I can't do it. And you know what? I believe it. If you believe all of that energy, then they're right. If we let that sink into our soul and we start to really let it take hold, it's like a virus that gets into us. And we're doomed. So what we have to do is we have to be very aware of that tendency, the way we as human beings, all of us, when someone tells us something often enough, we start to believe it. Okay? So we have to be very careful to fortify ourselves against this negative energy. Maybe that means that we're sort of, we're blocking people, we're cutting people out of our life, we're trying to ignore certain things. Okay? If people around you are not supporting you, you have to support yourself. And that's what you're doing with your Queen of Wands underneath here. So we've got fire, good fire energy here, really good fire. We got some good water. The air, I think, is improving, okay? Because we're getting rid of the negative energy, we're getting the harmony back. I think you're going to fully realize your vision here, okay? I think that things are going to be, things are going to start crystallizing for you in your life. You got to keep putting in this work. You got to keep going. You have this vision of the future. You got to keep building it despite the difficulties, despite the negative energy, despite the criticism, despite the haters. Let those haters fire you up even more to keep building what you're building. Do not, and that's the obstacle right now, is for you to not let it get to you. And it's so difficult, right? It's kind of like you get a bunch of negative comments on your YouTube videos or something, or like the views start to go down and you start to kind of believe all that negative stuff. You start to kind of feel like, maybe I'm not so good at this. Maybe this is the wrong path for me. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the end of it, right? But what you do is you persist. You keep working. You keep pushing through no matter what, okay? You support yourself. Spirit is supporting you even when nobody else is. It may not feel that way right now. We may feel as if we are suspended here, being subject to all this negative energy, and we're just, it feels like suffering, okay? It feels like we are about to surrender, about to throw in the towel, wave the white flag, but we're not going to, are we? Okay. You have this Queen of Wands underneath, and this is that ferocious energy. You are a fierce, fierce warrior. And you're going to continue doing this. You're going to stick to your path. You're going to do whatever you have to do to banish that negative energy from your life right now. And in a practical way, it's kind of like we're just going to stop talking to those people. If it's the negative comments, we're just going to stop looking at the comments. If it is, if it's other people in your life, family or friends that are kind of like, criticizing what we're doing, we're just going to choose to not talk to those people right now. Because we have to, or we're going to find a way to let that be our fuel. We could sublimate some of that. We could use the negative energy as energy. It's still fuel. It's kind of like Mr. Fusion in the Back to the Future movie. You could put garbage in there, and it's still gonna power the DeLorean, right? So we could use some of that negative energy and just get fired up and say, you know what? I'm going to prove everybody wrong. I'm going to prove myself right, and I'm going to work harder. People say I can't do it. I'm going to watch me do it. I'm going to work harder. Okay, and whatever we have to do to keep this fire going. The last thing we want to do is put that fire out. And of course, the Hanged Man is a pure water card. This is negative emotions, right? Too many negative thoughts lead to this kind of a succumbing to the negative emotion. And that sinking water energy is going to put the fire right out. We don't want to let that, right? We have to prevent that from happening. What I want to do is a Language of Flowers affirmation card to go with that combination. That's a very powerful combination, but we have to be stronger. You've got the nasturtium, grounding. The beginning is where you need to be. Go back to when you first started. Go back to the beginning when this dream of yours was just a twinkle in your eye, This is the Knight of Pentacles. It's looking at the future. Looking at the future and kind of saying, who am I, where am I, and what am I doing down the road? What's my vision? What do I want to be? What do I want to see at the end? Like, what's my goal here? Go back to when we first formulated these goals and then ask ourselves, am I doing it? Am I getting closer to my goal despite what people say, despite the criticism or the negative comments or the bad reviews or whatever, the haters? How am I doing toward my goal? I'm getting there. Things are going in the right direction, at least. I'm not there yet, right? But I'm certainly no worse off than I was before. So things are all right, okay? And it's a way for us to overcome that negative energy. It's a way for us to at least stabilize our thoughts and feelings right now. Okay? So we realize that the only thing that really matters is what we do today. We got to try to do the best job that we can today. Tomorrow's another day. Today I have to try to resist the negative energy and continue on. Okay? So yeah, so this card's in the past. And this is, again, this is kind of the beginning where you're kind of looking at the mountain. And if you look at this card, you can't really see the top of the mountain, can you? It may not be that we have really a finite goal. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe we need to redefine our goal a little bit and say, or at least to kind of formulate it again. What is the vision we have? What is the summit of the mountain for you? It doesn't have to be permanent. You know, maybe it's a certain amount of subscribers or a certain income, or maybe it's like, I want to, pay off your debts and buy a house or something. Maybe it's that you want to get, you want to produce a certain amount of something, or whatever it might be. You want to have your pets, your plants, your people. This, you kind of want to find your way to your big rock candy mountain, your paradise. Okay. Maybe we have to define that a little bit. So get out a sheet of paper, get out a pencil, draw a picture of your best life. What you got your pets, your plants, your people in there. What else? A certain amount of money, maybe a certain amount of freedom. You have maybe it's an acreage or something. You want some land. Maybe you want a garden with particular vegetables. Maybe you want to have a garden that's going to sustain your nutrition for a season or something, right? I mean, it's just, those are our goals. Whatever they might be, let's write them down. Draw. I think pictures more than words, though. Yeah, let's draw them. A picture speaks 1,000 words, right? We're able to connect more with an image than with the word of the image, with the explanation. I like to look at the pictures, and I don't really care about the captions beneath the pictures, So I think that's going to be a very important practice for you, is to realize what the goals are. Okay? I think we also have to sort of recapitulate our past in order to, kind of review the past in order to clear our energy and take some of that energy back. Okay? So, maybe we've made some mistakes along the way. Maybe we haven't always done the right thing. This is a card that reminds us of karma. Every thought, word, and deed in the present moment is creating our future. Who we are right now, the state we're in right now, is because of all of our past thoughts, words, and deeds. Now, of course, there are other factors involved, but this is kind of how we can look at karma, right? So we might have to sort of let some things go from the past and reformulate and re-envision what our goals are. Draw a new picture, or maybe edit the picture we had before, in order to continue forward and build it. Now, this is the card, the princes, they all focus on the present. This is what I have to do right now, today. Okay? So regardless of what we did in the past, regardless of whether we made a bunch of wrong turns, or we let ourselves get distracted or bogged down by things, all we can do right now in this moment is our very best. What can I do right now to get to my goal? And maybe we can, this is the card in the future position too, by the way. So we have the future card in the past, we have the present card in the future. It's really confused, right? But I think what it's suggesting to me is that we break down our goal into smaller chunks. See, what's the big long-term goal? Okay. What can I do this month to help me get to that goal? What can I do this week to help me get to this goal? What can I do today to help me get to the weekly goal? What can I do in this very moment to help me achieve my daily goal? So we split it, we break it down into chunks. There's the hour by hour goal, the daily, the weekly, the monthly, the yearly goals. Each one contributing to the next higher up the scale, right? And so that kind of breaks it down into these very actionable things that we can do. What can I do right now? What's the best thing? What's the best choice that I can make right now to help me get to my long-term goal? Okay, by those intermediate steps, getting to the daily goal, weekly, monthly, etc. Okay, and because this is the builder, this is the one that sort of we know the plan, and all that's left for us to do is execute the plan. If we continue doing what we're supposed to do, and we try to make the best decisions in every moment. The future will take care of itself. Your vision will be realized. Of course, we're going to make mistakes. Of course, we're going to get distracted. But you have your Three of Wands. You have your virtue. And that virtue is saying that I know what the right thing to do is. And I know that it's going to be difficult. I'm also realizing that I have to give myself room for error. Okay? This is the card that says I have a little bit of flexibility here. That I'm not going to be too hard on myself if I make a mistake. And I'm certainly not going to listen to the critics, not listen to the haters. The Seven of Swords, sometimes it's internal criticism. We're listening to that internal critic, and it could be that when I don't do everything perfectly, I get sort of mad at myself, and I start to think how everything's my fault and everything's doomed, and it starts to be this catastrophizing. This is the card of saying, I know what the right thing to do is, and I'm going to do my very best. I don't need to be perfect, but I need to be impeccable. I need to always be trying my best. Sometimes I'm going to try, I'm going to fail. Some days I'm not going to do what I know I'm supposed to do. I'm going to get up and I'm going to try again. I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to throw in the towel. Okay? And so you're sort of, your earth, you have fire and earth, right? I mean, and I think that's the magical, electrical, spiritual circuit of creation. Fire to earth, right? Fire to earth. Heaven to earth, above to below. And you have this intersection of fire and earth, right? The art and science of manifestation. But your heart and your mind are sometimes, getting in the way. If we just take this away, this is perfect. It is absolutely perfect. Your dream's coming true. Your manifestation will succeed like that instantaneously. But we've got to go through the fire. We've got to go through the fire has to go through the water and the air, right? In order to get to the earth and to manifest on this plane. So it's something that we have to deal, and even on this side, we have water and we have air again, with a little bit of earth in the middle, okay? So we have to forgive ourselves when we make mistakes. We cannot let any of this negative energy sink our ship, right? Because this, to me, feels like we hold on to things too long. We hold on to negative emotions, criticisms, right? They get to us. We're sensitive. People say something negative about us or about what we're doing, or they criticize our work. It hurts, right? And we hang on to it. It becomes an anchor. Too many anchors are going to drag your ship down to the bottom of the cold sea. We got to let those anchors go. Okay? So, as we move to the path of the serpent, we are confronted, first of all, with that deep sea, with the Queen of Cups. Okay? Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. This represents the depth of the ocean, right? We have the surface level where we're just reflecting back what other people are giving us. Nothing's penetrating the surface of the water, right? A little bit of it trickles down, but mostly it just bounces off the surface and it's whatever. Well, there's the shallow end where I'm just kind of chasing pleasure and I'm running from pain. Then there's the deep end, right? Those are where things really, the heaviest things sink down to the bottom of the sea here. So it's kind of like that anchor. If we can let go with some of those anchors, we can rise back up to the surface where nothing really bothers us. The surface is where things just bounce off. It's like that old saying that kids say, whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you, like, the I'm rubber, you're glue kind of thing. And so I feel like what we're trying to do now is we're trying not to take things so personally. We're trying to let go of things that people do and people say. We're trying to just accept it. Maybe that's the Hanged Man. It's a lesson in accepting and letting go. Somebody does something inconsiderate or says something mean, we let it go. We choose to not let it bother us. Maybe it does sometimes, and because we're sensitive, but we try to release it as quickly as possible so we can rise back up to the surface. And we don't sink down to the bottom and get stuck there. Okay? And that's kind of a lesson of the Hanged Man, is just kind of, there are things we can't control. Sometimes we have to just surrender. People are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to say what they're going to say. Not everybody's going to support us. So be it. Right? We try to release it as much as we can so we can rise back to the top, toward the surface of the water where nothing really bothers us. Okay? It still will, but again, you let it go as quickly as you can and you float back up to the top. Okay? Now, in your environment, you have a Three of Pentacles. This is a card of your relationships. This is a card of saying what works and what doesn't work. Okay? And really, this is, I think, the two things. It's the relationships with people. Are they working? Are they supportive? Are they conducive to what you're trying to do? Are they important to the machine? Are they helping things to go? No? 86 them. They don't need to be in your life. Not right now. Okay? Especially not if they're criticizing and if they're putting this negative energy and they're sort of if they're doing that to you, right? They're not your people anyway. So this is the card of us asking, is it working? Okay, is this relationship working for me? Is it helping me? Is it supportive? Am I gaining from this? Does it feel like it's a healthy thing? If it is, cherish it. If it's not, let it go too. It's an anchor. Okay. There's also the card of when it comes to doing whatever you're doing, whatever your goal is, whatever this path is that you're on. We're asking ourselves in every moment, like, am I doing the best thing that I could be doing right now? Maybe we need to set a little timer on our watch or something. Like every hour, every couple hours, the timer goes off, and it just sort of like we ask ourselves, what am I doing right now? And is this the best thing that I could be doing? Is this really what I should be doing right now? And we can also do that for our thoughts. Every hour, have your alarm go off, and in that moment you stop and say, what was I just saying to myself right now? What was the thought that was just going through my head? And does that thought need to be in there? Or is that an anchor? Okay. So this card is all about learning what works and letting go of everything that doesn't work. Everything that's not part of this. You know, this card always reminds me of a drone, right? It looks like there's these 3 fans, and I know drones have 4 fans, but whatever. And it's kind of like every one of these have to be spinning properly for this thing to rise up off the ground, right? If you have too many things attached to the drone, none of our efforts are going to be sufficient to get this thing to rise. So we have to have, it's with any kind of aircraft, got to trim the weight a little bit. Some things don't need to really be in there. What can I cut away? What can I get rid of to lighten the load so this thing can take off faster? We don't want to put unnecessary burdens upon ourselves or unnecessarily attach anchors to our ship. We don't need, and I guess sailing vessels too, there's probably a weight limit, right? So you kind of get rid of things that you don't need so that the journey can be easier. It's just like that in life. Okay. Now the next card is the fear, the worry, the concern. That's a 9 of Cups. I think we're concerned that we're not going to be happy. Sometimes we feel as if, we're not happy because we're not being supported, because there aren't, the people that we want to support us aren't there to support us. Okay? I think this kind of happiness has to come from within, right? This is you pursuing your happiness. This is you following your bliss. And I think that we have to stop letting other people sort of determine whether or not we're going to be happy. We have to stop putting our happiness in somebody else's hands. Because people are going to let us down sometimes. And that's just an inevitability. Okay? This card is a card of abundance on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, and spiritual creative planes. I feel like this is what we truly want, but the Hanged Man is sort of, as part of the anchor, kind of feeling like, I'm never going to get this. I'm never going to be happy. All right, so what's the point? What's the point of doing any of this if we're never going to be happy? Well, we have to start being happy now. We have to start getting rid of anything in our life that's not contributing to our best life. Okay, and maybe that feels harsh, and maybe it should be. If somebody's not for me, if somebody's not supportive, or at the very least, neutral, why would I have them in my home? I don't mind having a stranger in my house sometimes. That's okay, right? I'm going to be on guard. I'm going to not leave them alone, but I'm going to let a stranger in, right? Of course, my friends, my family, people that I love and that love me, they can come into my home anytime and make themselves at home. What if somebody comes into your home and is very hostile, is insulting to you? I'm not going to let them in my home. I'm going to tell them to leave. I'm going to say, you have to get out of here. This is my home, you know? And so I feel like that's how we have to treat our life, our psyche, our soul, our aura. We don't have to put up with people that are harmful or cruel or, you know, have that very low vibration, negative energy. Sometimes we have to put up with people like that. But if there's someone like that at work, you don't have to sit there and put up with that. There are things that we can do, you know, in order to change the situation. We can ask to be transferred. We can let somebody know that, hey, this, you know, it's not working out. Because we have the right to pursue our own happiness, to follow our bliss, and for you to go after your goals and achieve your goals, whatever they are. Okay? Now, the next card is your Six of Swords, the plan, the divine plan, the blueprint. But it's also a card of harmony and beauty and resonance in your relationships. Interpersonal relationships, the Swords cards. We're getting rid of the 7, and instead we're getting the 6. We're getting rid of things that are distracting us, people that are dragging us down, anchors that are trying to sink our vessel, and we're surrounding ourselves with supportive energies. These are all people that are in your life that really need to be there. The people that love you, the people that they want to see you succeed. You know, this is your inner circle. Now, of course, there's going to be people that really don't care either way. Neutral kind of people, okay, fine. You know, strangers, people that don't really know you, or, you know, maybe they don't know what you're doing or trying to do. But very much it's about safeguarding the inner circle of very supportive people and getting rid of anybody who's not. Anybody who is actively against you or criticizing you or not supportive of your goals. You're not going to let them in your inner circle. Just like you're not going to let them in your house, you know? And it's the same kind of thing. So I feel like this is us focusing on the beauty and the harmony. That's going to help us to stick to our plan and realize our vision. It's going to help us maintain a positive mindset, because we're getting rid of the negative energy the best we can. Sometimes that means I'm just not going to associate with certain people very much anymore. It's a choice that we get to make. Let's look at the mystery card, okay? Fully expecting like a 9 or a 10 of Pentacles, maybe the Empress, maybe the Universe, maybe the Wheel of Fortune. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. It's a 9 of Wands. Okay, more fire energy. I think that's good, because this is strength. This is never giving up. This is resilience. This is, to me, this feels like we can go through the storm. We can fight our way up this hill. We can get to our goals, even when we are getting, even when things are not perfect. It's kind of like, you know, it's that old saying that smooth seas never created a good sailor. Okay, so we are confident enough and we're strong enough to know that not everybody's going to like me, and that's okay. Not everybody's going to support me, and that's okay. I can take a few licks and I can keep on ticking. You know, it's okay if people are going to send some negative comments, things that we can't prevent. You know, like, again, your inner circle, you don't have to let these people in your home, in your inner circle, but you're still going to be out there in the world. You're still going to get some negative energy from life, right? This is the card that says, I can handle that. I'm confident. Confidence is not thinking everything's going to be perfect, or that I'm always going to win and I'm always going to be on top. No, confidence is saying, regardless of what happens, I know that I can be okay. So this to me feels like it's a direct correction of the Hanged Man. Because the Hanged Man, we get a little bit of negative energy, and we cling to it, and it sinks us. Right? This is the card that says, I can let things go. Things can bounce right off of me. My shields are up. No, they're not going to last forever, right? I might get a little weathered through the storm, but I can be okay. I don't have to let any of that negative energy sink my vessel. Okay? So this is that inner strength, and this is that confidence. So we're going to do an extended reading as well. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Sagittarius Wednesdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. The readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.